So we're going to start with the defensive end, Carlos Dunlap, actually. Um, and honestly, what can I say about Carlos Dunlap other than that? He is fantastic. Two-time Pro Bowler, a guy that's had 13 and a half sacks at one point, was fantastic at the Pro Bowl. I mean, as of right now, we all know about the Bengals. Their season isn't as great as it should be, but all of his years has been Cincinnati. He's definitely put his all into it. Finally starting to get um, more roles. Of course, I mean you're looking at early on, he had some injury issues at times, and he was trying to get that figured out and stuff like that. But now he's starting more, and he's definitely not missing many games. That's for sure. And that's what's good is that he's versatile. He's not going to be injured much. He's reliable, and he can get to the QB. He is a sack artist, and he can do a little bit of everything. So honestly, I definitely see Carlos Dunlap as being one of those guys that's one of the leaders on the D line, and I'm super excited to see Carlos Dunlap on this D line. All right, so defensive tackle, we got ourselves Geno Atkins. So Geno Atkins, yeah, fantastic player overall. Five-time Pro Bowler, a two-time All-Pro. He's 29 years old. He's still playing out there, of course, in Cincinnati. Having a pretty good year this year. Not surprised. This a guy in 7 years has accumulated 58 sacks. He's accumulated more than 300 tackles. This is a guy that's had some injuries, but at the same time, he's been reliable and he's been able to play at a great level. And he's been such a great a cornerstone for this defense. Well, ever since he's been drafted, really, he's, like I said, a fantastic player coming out of Georgia, and he's a beast. He's a beast down there, and he's going to help the run game, the run defense a lot. Yeah, he's definitely going to have a lot of stops with those running backs coming up the middle of him. He's a smart football player, so he's ready. Now, right next to Atkins is another guy, another D tackle. We're having a 4-3 defense on this, and Demata Pecco, the defensive tackle. Samoan beast, a guy that doesn't really get much attention, but should. I mean, he's a guy now in Denver, but this is his first year in Denver. He's been all 11 years out of 12 in Cincy. A guy, like I said, has a big impact on the defense. Just fantastic on the run defense side, but can impact guys, can get to the QB, can really force some chaos in there. And force to be reckoned with. He's a big dude, so he's gonna definitely draw a lot of attention, and that's gonna be great because, well, on the other side, you got Geno Atkins that can exploit that, and it can go vice versa. One is gonna be definitely teamed up, really well, but then that leaves another defensive tackle open. So in my opinion, great defensive tackle. I really love these two together, paired up. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, great duo. I'm ready. I'm really excited. Closing out this D line, it's gonna be Eddie Edwards. This guy was a big monster. That was, well, was drafted the first round, third overall pick in the '77 draft, and played till 1988, all within Cincinnati. And when finally stats were recorded in terms of sacks, there was a year where he had 13 sacks. He had 9. He had 8.5. He was a guy that was reliable in that department. Also, honestly, not many stats are of him because, well, it's the 70s and 80s, and they didn't really track much statistics. But this is a man that, in my opinion, is going to be feared. It seems like this guy was able to create forced fumbles, was able to get picks, was able to just create a lot of chaos, and really just make up for, any player that any teammate of his that does end up missing a tackle or missing some sort of assignment. He's up there to kind of be that leader and step in and make sure that they get a stop. So in my opinion, it just shows a lot of maturity, a lot of leadership. Honestly, I really enjoy this D line. So I think this could be a potential threat to other teams. All right, now the linebackers, Glenn Cameron. So that will be our left inside or outside, whatever you want to call it. It is 3 linebackers, so I'll just call it outside linebacker, Glenn Cameron, the guy that played from 75 to 85. Again, not many statistics do I go by. I just go by, I go by this chart where it kind of shows me of an approximate value of what he was. Again, I wasn't a part of this time to know how good of a player Glenn Cameron was. But like I said, he seems like he was pretty valuable to his team. I saw 2 sacks and 1 sack in a year there. I saw a time where he had an interception, where he was able to get fumble recoveries. So I see a guy that can play the game of football. So I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give him that position as being that linebacker position. Will it work? We'll see. Honestly, I enjoy mostly from this team. I enjoy mostly their D-line. I think their D-line is their strong suit. Other than that, I don't know. But I don't honestly see their linebackers as being really impactful. All right, middle linebacker is going to be Jim LeClaire. Jim LeClaire is a one-time Pro Bowler, actually. Jim LeClaire is also a middle linebacker, played from 1972 to 1983. A man that, you can see had pretty good picks. Was a guy that played mostly every game, so he was very reliable, and a guy that was a part of that 81 Cincinnati Bengals team that went to the Super Bowl. So, it shows something. Their defense wasn't too bad that year. They just faced the 49ers. But yeah, no, you're looking at a Bengals team right now that has an okay defense. I think Jim LeClaire, it's good to have a middle linebacker. He's a leader. He's been there before. He's got experience, especially playoff-wise. So all in all, I think that's a good thing. And yeah, so he will be that middle linebacker. Closing out the other linebacker is going to be Reggie Williams. Reggie Williams is the other linebacker. I think he's got a lot of grit in him. Again, this is a guy that had at 1.9 sacks in a year that can accumulate that kind of number. So he can accumulate sacks. He can accumulate good numbers. And yeah, he is very effective overall. I do believe Reggie Williams will be a very tough leader. I mean, this is a guy that was a part of two Bengals teams that got to the Super Bowl. So I expect, honestly, I expect nothing. I expect nothing but just some hardcore defense. Some guy just trying to pump him up, getting some energy in there. Yeah, I do not expect some soft football for sure. When I look at the 80s Bengals, I look at toughness and I look at underdog, and I think that's what they're going to bring. He's going to bring some grittiness in there. Cornerback Lamar Parrish. Lamar Parrish is an 8-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro. A guy that played on the Cincinnati Bengals squad from 1970 to 77. A guy that actually had a career 47 interceptions. So, like I said, this guy is a ball hawk. This guy is able to create some great chaos from the secondary, and I think this it's a really good thing for them, because they do need, as much as their D-line's great, their linebacker, is a question for me. But again, I haven't seen him in action, so maybe I could be wrong. Maybe their defense on linebacker position is stronger than the D-line. But the secondary is very important, and as of right now, with the D-line being great, the linebackers being okay, you need a pretty solid secondary, I would say, to be successful. And bringing in a guy like this magnitude, 47 picks in his career, he knows what to do. He's a ball hawk, so I think he'll do pretty good. All right, how about Leon Hall? He's going to be the other corner. Leon Hall, fantastic athlete, I would say the least. Coming out first rounder in 2007. As of right now, he is part of the San Francisco Giants secondary. He was also part of that New York Giants secondary before, but he has been a Cincinnati Bengal for 9 years, accumulating 26 interceptions, over 400 tackles. Overall, he's done all of his damage in Cincinnati, and like I said, he's guided this secondary to playoff games. Not essentially playoff victories, but playoff games. And I think, Leon Hall, he's a veteran. He's been there before. Pairing him with Parrish, I think is pretty solid. And that should be very, very exciting to see, nonetheless. So, all right, free safety, Ken Riley. So how about Ken Riley there? He is a free safety. He's an all-pro. Legendary, not legendary, but what I mean by legendary is classic guy, like a guy that's not from this generation. He played a while back. You're looking at a guy that played from 1969 all the way to 1983. So, but yeah, I would say he's legendary because, well, first of all, he has 65 career interceptions. He's played in 270 games. So overall, yeah, his value is extremely high. So yeah, expect nothing but just ability to pick people off. So I think the fact that you have Leon Hall, you have Parrish, and now you have Ken Riley, you have guys that can intercept the ball, and I would say that makes the air attack vulnerable. Like, that makes offenses be like, I don't know if I want to pass, maybe we should just run it. And then when you're looking at the D-line is right there to stop them, because most of them are pretty good at run stopping. So overall, I think this defense can definitely figure some stuff out. I can definitely see this team going pretty far. But yeah, Ken Riley, very underrated. Most people really don't know him, but this is a guy that has 65 career interceptions. That's crazy. All right, strong safety. We got David Vulture, who is a 3-time Pro Bowler and a 1-time All-Pro. A guy that has had 31 career interceptions, about 8.5 sacks, and he had 9 fumble recoveries, 2 fumbles overall. Yeah, this is a guy that can get after it. Played pretty much 7 out of his 8 years in Cincinnati. He is the best strong safety out there, the best one to put on this lineup. And yeah, honestly, I enjoy the secondary. I think the secondary is going to make a lot of people scared, and I can't wait to not see it. Because obviously I cannot see it ever. Nobody can see it unless we had this virtual reality where we actually put that together. But yeah, I think the secondary is pretty legit. The kicker of the Cincinnati Bengals, that's going to be Shane Graham, a guy that's been really everywhere. If you want to look at it, he's been everywhere team-wise. But he's been 7 years in Cincinnati, which every other team hasn't even lasted more than 1 year. Besides New Orleans, he's been there for 2 years. But other teams have just been 1 year, 1 year gig. But yeah, you're looking at a guy that has overall career in Cincinnati an 86.8 field goal percentage, and 98.8 extra point percentage. A guy that made 177 field goals, and a guy that was able to make about 7 50-plus field goals out of 16. It's not bad. So yeah, I think he is the most accurate there. He's definitely going to, he's not terrible. He's not like legendary, but he's above average. He's not bad. All right, so we're gonna have Kevin Huber. That's the punter. Kevin Huber is a 1-time Pro Bowler. We're looking at being a part of the Cincinnati Bengals from 2009 to 2017. Yeah, a guy that had over 30,000 punt yards, had an average of 45.2 yards per punt, and like I said, he's still going strong. He's still a part of that Cincinnati team. So yeah, I definitely see him as that punter. He's definitely had the better numbers, pretty much. He stacked up the most numbers. He's been there the longest, punter-wise, for this Bengals franchise. All right, so returner is going to be Brandon Tate. Brandon Tate has spent roughly 5 years with Cincinnati, starting out in New England, going to Cincinnati. He's been in Buffalo ever since. But yeah, this is a guy that has gotten it done in terms of kick returns, punt returns. It's all been over 1,000. So overall, he's gotten at least a touchdown out of it. And yeah, he's a speedy guy. Definitely fun to watch. And yeah, like I said, he is also a receiver. But mostly he'll be used as special teams guy. So yeah, I think it'll be fun to watch him. And yeah, he is the return man. All right, the coach. of the Cincinnati Bengals team is going to be none other than Marvin Lewis. I feel like some people might put Sam Wyke in there. I'm going to put Marvin Lewis. He's been a long tenured coach there, 15 years to be exact, without getting fired, which is not bad. I mean, he's had an average ranking of about 2, second in the division pretty much. He's been a guy that's gotten to the playoffs 7 times. He's 0-7. So, again, that's going to be some question debate. He might be fired, maybe. I mean, you're looking at a team that's 4-6 right now. If they don't make the playoffs, would you really re-sign this guy? That's a question for debate. But, we'll see what happens. For the most part, I'd say he's done a good job of winning ball games when he has to. I mean, he has a 52.8 win percentage overall. So, I mean, he's won more games than he's lost, which is good. He's gotten to the playoffs, which is great. It just can't seem to get past the wild card round. So, I would like to see them definitely getting farther, deeper. But yeah, I think he's that coach. He's a defensive kind of guy, and he's tough, and he's gonna just motivate them, in my opinion. But we'll see how that goes.